So they have this thing that's called the Rookie Symposium, where they kind of teach you the ins and outs of living as a pro NFL player. Am I kind of hitting the nail on the head
Yeah.
here? Okay, great. And they teach you all kinds of things like how to deal with women and groupies and whatever else. Apparently, y'all don't really, it doesn't resonate. But do you think that there should be some kind of program offered to football players on their way out of the league to try to prepare them for re-entering, civilian life?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to speak on the Rookie Symposium, it's I see it a lot like I was when I was like in my addiction, because there was a lot of people that were trying to help me and like had like helpful messages and had resources, but the state that the person's in from a mental standpoint, like they have to be ready to be willing to receive that information. And I wasn't, and I don't think a lot of guys are. They have their minds made up of how they want to, they want to spend money on a litany of things that I could list. And so it's like, really, it's up to them to receive that message and do something with it. But yeah, they give you resources for when you retire, but it's almost like it's like an email or like a quick newsletter of like, hey, these things are like available, but it's like, and they're trying to help. Like, I don't want to act like they're not trying to help.
Are they though? It
but
seems
it's
kind of passive.
but it's like, yeah, it does. It seems like it could be more. It seems like it could be more engaging, and it does seem like there could be more of like we care about every step, every difficulty that you're dealing with. It does kind of feel like it's like, yeah, we got a bunch of resources. Here you go. Like, it's up to you now. Like, that is kind of how it feels. Like, it's just like throwing information at you, and it's like, you got the information.
That's why I consider it very similar to the military and quote unquote fighting for your country, because once it's all over, you are living with this now broken body, a lot of times a broken brain, PTSD, all of these issues, and they're like, all right, thanks for your service, and whatever happens, happens kind of thing. Good luck.
Right.
And that sounds, to me, it's really insidious. It's just to watch people devote almost their entire lives to achieving this goal, getting there, and for the most part, a lot of them never reach like the highest levels of, like a Tom Brady. A lot of people, just a lot of players just kind of stay no names, just helmets and numbers, and then that's it. And that sounds horrifying to me, honestly, to have to try to pick up the pieces and assemble some level of an identity after you've been conditioned to be one thing for so long.
Yeah, and it's like there's the angle of we need people in the league to like help these guys on the back end, but I also think there needs to be a shift in how young men are approaching the game on the front end from like a identity standpoint to when I make it in football, I'm gonna be worth it or I'm gonna be good enough. And it's like there's so much more to your picture in your life than to making this football career life and death. Like it's a vehicle for you to use when used the right way to set you up for so many different opportunities and to teach you so many skills and for you to show the world all the ways, all the gifts that you have and how you can overcome adversity and work together with a team. There's so many good things to get out of it, but without attaching your identity so hard to it. But the world we live in, it's like 75% of my human interaction on a day-to-day basis is me winning somebody's fantasy league in 2019, 20, and 2021. Or like, it's just like they're so fascinated with it. And it's like on social media, it's like, this is like when you are balling at basketball or like you're Ant-Man, like you're it. Like so it's like these guys want to be that. And it's like, there's so much more to life than that, especially if you want to live a healthy one.
What's something that you were ashamed of that you now consider a strength or a superpower?
In the eyes of football, I always kind of like had this voice in my head that would like, I would call myself soft. Because there's in football, it's like if you watch closely, like when you get close to the end of the plays, there are dudes that are like trying to bury people into the ground. Like, and it's like sometimes when it's like not necessary, but they're trying to like send a message, and the coaches are like, let them know it's gonna be a long day, like bury their ass in the ground. And I'm like, I was never really a person to do that. Like, I would do my job, but like I would never be out there really trying to like embarrass somebody or bury them into the ground. And I always feel like I'm soft, like, I got to be harder, I got to be tougher. When really it's like, nah, I feel like I have a heightened sense of compassion for people and empathy and like understanding. And it's like those things aren't celebrated in these macho ass sports and environments that a lot of us men find ourselves in. But it's like, nah, like I've got compassion for people. I know when to be aggressive. I know when to turn it on and when to bust somebody's ass. But at the same time, I know when I'd also know how to be gentler and more understanding and more compassionate at the same time. And it's like, I never celebrated myself for having that kind of versatility as a man. Cause like usually that man conditioning is like hard, tough, run through somebody, get the job done. Not necessarily a compassion. So now I'm able to shift that belief in myself and be like, no, that's a strength of mine. Cause I feel like I can relate to people of all walks, male, female, wherever their situation in life is. I can at least point something and be like, yeah, me too.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions about therapy. And, when you were just describing the plan of action that you and your therapist have, I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my God, that is so fantastic. Because I do the same thing with my therapist. We have a plan of action. When we have, delved into one area that needed attention and then we've flushed it out and we feel like, okay, we did that. What's the next thing? And, at one point I used to think that inner child work was bullshit. I don't think that way anymore at all. I realized that there young Melyssa, she needs to be reparented because she has severe abandonment issues from when I was a very little girl, related to my parents just feeling like my parents were just not available to me how I needed them to be.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people have the misconception that therapy is also very linear, and it's not. It up, down, and around and around. Like it's definitely not linear. How would you encourage people to pursue therapy knowing what you know about it? How hard it actually is, how much work it takes.
I think most general people can understand that when you suppress certain things and don't share them regularly, they can start to bottle up and start to build up. I think most people can realize that, but it hasn't really translated into people seeing therapy as a built-in, almost like a weapon for real, like in a positive way for you to like shed the excess weight and process these things that can take up so much space energetically, can affect you physically from a stress standpoint. It's like, this is an option for you to just go in there. There's no judgment. They're literally not allowed to judge you. And you can just throw everything on the table, put it all out there, and you have somebody helping you arrange these pieces to the puzzle. Like, why wouldn't you want that? Especially if you have a life of dreams and goals and aspirations. There's going to be a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts, some things may be going great, and then on this end, it's like, this is falling apart though. So it's like, there's so many different moving parts. Why wouldn't you want somebody on your team, on your side, that's able to help you process all that and allow you to see where, you may be having some irrational thoughts or beliefs, or like how it's stemming from something from your childhood. You're not even reacting to that situation as the 32-year-old version of yourself. You're reacting to that as the 11-year-old version of yourself, and being able to cultivate that relationship with the younger version. So it's just like, it's a weapon. It's something that I feel like everybody should at least be trying to experience with, or, because we don't necessarily want to talk to people. We want to hide. We want to bury those things, stuff those things down. And it's like, it's not helpful in the long run. If we step out and zoom out, it's like, I want to be as light as possible. I want to be as free as possible. And approach everything that I'm doing with presence, intentionality, and the right perspective, as opposed to like a perspective of pain. And that's the only way I feel like I've been able to really walk through these things. Just trying to thug through it on my own, it ain't really been working.
So, as a mental health advocate, when you talk to young people or even your teammates, whomever, what is something, a small message that you hope sticks with them long after the conversation's over?
I'd say authenticity is, there's no greater currency in life than just you being able to be who you are, because I try to tell them as much as possible. I've ran it up as high as you could in areas where it's like it didn't really ultimately feel like the path or the dream that I wanted. It felt like it was honestly like a cultural dream, or dreams that other people like put in front of me, like, this is gonna make you happy, this is gonna fulfill you. And it's like you can run that up, but it's not gonna hit. It's not gonna feel like it's a full life that you really want. So it's like authenticity begins with like vulnerability, like having people be able to see you at your core as you really are, not just this representative that you put out there that is like one you want people to see, because that only makes life lonelier. That only makes the walls between you and the connection and the love that you seek thicker and taller. Showing yourself as you really are also gives other permission to step out and do the same. And that's where like the real lifelong connections and bonds and love come from. And that's all we really want at the end of the day. We want to feel safe, seen, and loved and secure. We try to find that in money and accomplishments and all these things, but the best way to find that is through other people and through the relationship that we have with ourselves.